Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on Ginkgo Notes. My name is Rada Milanovic. I'm the Director of Investor Relations at Ginkgo. We're excited to introduce a unique opportunity that might help investors navigate today's investment landscape. And I'm also excited to be joined by one of my colleagues on the investor relations team, Kevin Smythe. Kevin, do you want to give folks a brief background on what you do at Ginkgo?
Sure, Rada, thanks. I have an accounting background. I've been with Ginkgo for 4 years now, and I first worked in the acquisitions department, but now I'm focused on institutional equity capital raising, so finding LP capital for individual deals, but also looking for larger check sizes for direct investment into our REIT.
Great. Thanks for that brief background. So here's what we'll cover today. We'll discuss a little bit about Ginkgo Vest, which is our online marketplace. We will highlight on a high level Ginkgo Notes, our latest offering, and Kevin will touch on some key financial topics such as inflation and what's going on in the financial markets today. And then lastly, we'll sort of preview how someone would make an indication of interest in our notes program online. So we're really excited and proud about our progression to an online marketplace. Ginkgo Vest offers a wider variety of investment offerings that maps towards investment personas. And what does that mean? That means that everyone's investment goals are very unique. It may be dependent on their investment time horizon, their risk and return profile. So for someone looking for a high yield solution to park money, Ginkgo Notes offers the ability to participate with a duration as short as 12 months. We also have our flagship REIT fund. It's an open-ended fund. It invests in 42 communities in North and South Carolina. It currently pays a 5.4% dividend, and the performance has been quite good since inception, since we launched in 2019. It's up 85%. That's a total return statistic, which includes the increase in net asset value as well as the dividend payment. Some investors want to pick and choose individual assets to invest in, and we do offer that whenever we're acquiring or recapitalizing properties. And lastly, we do have a tax advantage bucket here. So investors might contribute assets and receive shares in return. And they're able to diversify into a professionally managed, larger portfolio, completely hands-off. So check out Ginkgo Vest. Would love to hear your feedback. So many investors are asking us, why launch our latest product, Ginkgo Notes? It's really twofold. First, it's been a really challenging acquisition market. To oversimplify things, it's really hard to find deals that pencil out. Valuations are still high on the multifamily space, especially in the Southeast, and debt is very expensive. So this slide here shows our acquisition pipeline over the last 12 months. We've only bought one property. We've been very patient, and we've been reinvesting into our existing portfolio in an accretive fashion. So investors have been knocking on our door asking, what additional offerings do we have? Secondly, we recently extinguished our credit facility that we had, largely because we were underutilizing it and we were paying a unused commitment fee to the bank. So hence we launched Ginkgo Notes to provide investors with the ability to participate in debt backed by Ginkgo Multifamily OPLP, which is backed by $200 million of net asset value. So let's start with the basics. Ginkgo Notes are designed to provide investors with stability, especially in this unpredictable financial environment. Interest is accrued, and the principal and interest is paid at maturity. Investors can expect simple 1099 INT come year end during tax filing season. And we've really built this program uniquely where investors can either receive their principal back and interest or elect to roll that amount into rolling maturities. So we do plan to offer additional notes programs in increments of 3, 6, 12, 24 months. But more to come there. We do also offer yield enhancements. So investments over $100,000 will receive some yield enhancements. And I encourage you to go to the Ginkgo Vest page for more details about that. So here we have our inaugural Series 1 medium-term notes due in September 25. Just to highlight a couple features here. These investments are unsecured obligations. However, they are backed by Ginkgo Multifamily OPLP. We are planning to use capital for acquisitions to enhance any projects or potentially any capital calls. We have something called a negative pledge, meaning that we will maintain liquidity on our balance sheet equal to or greater to the amount of short-term notes outstanding. And we do plan to pay back the notes with cash on our balance sheet, asset refinances, or any future capital raising going forward. Our initial Series 1 medium-term notes is being offered at a 12-month maturity. And important to highlight here that no fees apply. Towards the bottom of the slide, you'll see that our base rate is 6.38%. We are targeting 12-month Treasury plus 2% premium. And if you do invest in tiers of 100, 250, or 500 or greater, there are 25 basis points of yield enhancements. With that, I'll turn it over to Kevin, who will discuss some of the market dynamics and how notes might be, a consideration for investors. Kevin?
Thanks, Rada. So I'll tell you a little bit about how you can ensure that your money is working. So the federal funds rate is the highest it's been since 2006, which means if you are keeping your cash in a checking account, you are missing out. So what we have here are a couple popular 12-month certificates of deposit rates, and you can see Capital One, 4.25%, Ally, 4.5%, M&T Bank, 4%. And we also just took the national average, and that's a little lower at about 1.78%. But essentially, this is an alternative to leaving that cash in your bank account. And well, we took these into consideration when coming up with the notes program, and what we're able to offer is a 2 to 3% premium over some of these top CDs, as well as a 5% premium over the national average. And whether you choose to invest with one of these or in Ginkgo notes, it really is a great hedge against inflation, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So inflation is up 18% since 2021. It's one of the main reasons the Fed has increased interest rates. And I'm sure you've heard about it. Everyone's talked about it. And a lot of investment options haven't kept up with the pace of inflation. And it's something that you should be thinking about. And if you haven't been earning at least 3% on your savings, you might be feeling the sting a little at the grocery store or buying other goods. And well, the CDs I mentioned before helped, but Ginkgo notes, as one example, can help you get a higher return and continue to increase your purchasing power. And if this is something, a new concept to you, maybe you're not already familiar with high yield savings accounts, well, it's not too late, even though everyone is saying that, or the Fed is signaling that rates are going to come down. Buying a CD will help you lock in a rate today. So no matter what happens tomorrow, you can ensure that you do get this attractive yield. And I will tell you why you might want to do that on the next slide. So potential stock market volatility. So the market has done very well over the past 9 months. S&P is up. Talk of the town has been NVIDIA, which has been a great performer, really took off this year. And if you look at NVIDIA today, it's down 10% off its high. And even the rest of the Magnificent Seven stocks, They've been increasingly volatile over the past few months, and some conservative investors might want to pull their chips off the table and recognize the gain and see what happens over the next couple months. So one big thing coming up tomorrow, the Fed is going to announce if they're going to cut rates, and if so, by how much. They've seemed to indicated that they're going to cut by at least 25 basis points, but 50 basis points is not off the table just yet. It seems the markets are pricing the probability around 55% for a 25 bip cut or 45% for the 50 bip cut. But either way, the market has almost fully priced in expectations for 100 basis points of cuts by the end of the year, including tomorrow's cut. And what will that do? Well, some of those high yield savings accounts, certificate of deposits, those yields are going to drop. And the Ginkgo notes is going to close September 26th at the moment, and you can wait, see what happens, and maybe the yield on Ginkgo notes works for you. But the last thing I'll mention is election volatility. While the S&P 500 has averaged a 7% gain during U.S. presidential election years since 1952, we are in unprecedented times. This election feels different than many of the elections I've been alive for, and some people just they don't want to deal with the volatility. They want to stay away from it, and putting your money into 12-month notes can help you do that. But anyway, I'll let Rada close it out.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Definitely share your sentiment in regards to, a lot of uncertainty going into an election year, and yeah, curious to see what happens tomorrow when the Fed meets and what decision they make. So how do you invest in Ginkgo notes? It's very simple. You can go to ginkgovest.com. From there, you can click Invest Now on the top right of your screen. That will bring you to our offerings page. Our offerings page will have live offerings, waitlist offerings, as well as investment offerings that were recently funded. You can click on the Ginkgo notes there, read through the offering memo and some of the highlights there. Towards the bottom of the offering memo, you'll find all the legal documents, all the risk factors. So definitely make sure to read through all of those. And then once you're ready, you can click the Invest Now button. And once you click the Invest Now button, you can indicate an amount that you're interested in participating. Go through the checkout process by filling out all the required information, as well as uploading any required documents. Once that's completed, you'll receive a DocuSign in your email, and that needs to be executed. And as Kevin alluded to, make sure all documents are completed by the date that's required. And from there, you can monitor your investments online, receive updates through the online portal. And it's really that simple. So we are streamlining the investment checkout process through technology. And just want to highlight here that our Ginkgo Notes investments start at $10,000. So just to summarize, Ginkgo Notes provides protection against inflation. As Kevin alluded to, our highest yielding Series 1 notes is pricing at 7.13% today. This is with the addition of yield enhancements. Ginkgo Notes provides liquidity through short durations. Our first Series 1 notes has a duration of 12 months. We are looking to launch additional notes in shorter durations, longer durations. So we're really excited about that. And I will say lastly, Ginkgo Notes provides stability, especially against stock market volatility, election year. And this is why we feel that the notes is a compelling choice for investors, especially if you're looking to safeguard your investments, take some chips off the table, and especially in this current market environment. We thank you so much for joining us today. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thanks so much.